Welcome back to the 9 News Business Buzz. I'm Ryan Frazier, 9 News business expert. We talk a lot about inflation and interest rates, but the auto industry is where the rubber meets the road for the American economy. Right now, that road is getting a bit more expensive. With the average car payment rivaling a mortgage for some and looming federal policy changes set to shake up manufacturing, the auto market has become a leading indicator for the health of the consumer wallet heading into 2026. Joining me now to break down the dollars and cents is Matthew Grove, CEO of the Colorado Automobile Dealers Association. Matthew, welcome on the program.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come talk to you.
It's great to have you. Matthew, let's look at the numbers because there are some tough times for families right now.
Sure.
Kelley Blue Book says average new car prices in September was $50,000. NerdWallet put the average monthly new car payment at nearly $750 a month. And even used cars aren't much cheaper. The average used car price is over $500 a month. What's going on here in Colorado?
You know, it's a number of factors. Obviously, the product is getting more expensive. When you try to get all of your materials from overseas and our trade agreements are in a state of flux, you've got a combination of interest rates and tariffs, the expiration of tax credits. All of these things are really impacting the bottom line, and that's pretty much the only number that consumers are looking at right now.
Yeah, and the payments are so high. Do you anticipate, any sort of relief as we look towards 2026? Is it going to get better? Is it going to stay about the same, or is it going to, God forbid, get worse for folks in terms of these payments?
We think it's starting to get a little bit better. What we've seen is that the interest rates are coming down very slowly. Obviously, not fast enough for some people who want to take on these mortgages. We've seen car loans go out anywhere from maybe 6% in the best case scenario, all the way up to 12 or 13 for people with subprime credit. And so that obviously is a factor on how much do you want to pay per month. We're also seeing some, let's call it sort of some gymnastics around the loan, where instead of a traditional 60-month loan, you might go to 72 to get that monthly payment just a little bit lower. It really is a matter of what works for each individual customer and their unique situation.
Yeah, now with these payments being so high today, are you seeing, or your members seeing more buyers kind of hold on to their old cars longer? Is the market freezing up? What are you seeing in that capacity?
They definitely are. The average age for a vehicle in the United States is 12.2 years, and Colorado's a little over 13. So I think there's a couple of factors that go into that. One is cars are better than they used to be. They will last longer. I don't think it's unusual to see a used car that somebody has had for years and years have 220, 250,000 miles on it. It certainly defeats the old notion from the 90s that you got rid of a car at 100,000 miles. So that's one of the reasons that people are looking at longer loans, is because they know that car will be there at the end of the loan. It's not something that they have to worry about breaking down in the first 4 or 5 years in a way that's going to be unfixable. I think the second reason is that people are putting so much focus on sort of the maintenance of the car. As sort of the state of Colorado's roads deteriorates, it's going to require more maintenance. But as you go in, your relationship with the dealers, they're going to tell you exactly what's wrong, exactly what you need to prioritize as far as repairs go, and that's going to help you extend the lifespan of the car.
All right, so now the fuel efficiency standards will be changing for automakers, and President Trump recently spoke about his reasoning for these changing. Here's the president.
We're protecting our auto workers, and we're making it easier for every family to afford high-quality cars. In other words, we're bringing automobiles back and the manufacturing of automobiles back into this country.
Now, for our viewers, when the federal government changes fuel economy standards, it means they're raising or lowering the required miles per gallon or emissions performance that automakers must meet for new cars, SUVs, and trucks. The president says this is about affordability and bringing manufacturing back. Matthew, does changing fuel standards actually lower the price tag for Colorado families in 2026?
We think that it can over the lifespan of the car. You're probably not going to see it on day one, right? And I think what's important is with the fuel, the corporate average fuel economy, you're looking at all of the brands that a manufacturer makes. It's not individual by car. And so some folks are going to stay with electric because they have the ability to get much, much better gas range out of all of those. And some folks are going to start moving away from electric, coming back to hybrid. I think you're seeing hybrid be very popular right now. Unlike electric, which had a lot of state and federal incentives, hybrid has no incentives, and it's still making up about 13 or 14% of the cars sold in Colorado. And so you're seeing manufacturers like Toyota and Lexus and Honda, people who have really focused on that while most of the world was working on battery electric. Those brands are surging right now because they know that they're on to something that is both very popular and good for the environment. And the cost is lower because it does not take as many sort of critical minerals to go into the functioning of that car as a battery electric would.
Yeah, now the president, obviously, as I said before, is saying that reducing these fuel economy standards is going to make it more affordable. Are you worried about, I'll call it the squeeze, between a White House that's pushing the relaxed rules and state regulators here in Colorado pushing for more things like EVs?
Sure. You know, I don't think dealers are as much, because it's silly to worry about the things you can't control, right? We're going to sell the cars that the manufacturers give us to sell, and we're going to sell the cars that the people want to buy. And to the extent that that's electric, and it has been over the last couple of years, we're going to have electric vehicles for them to sell. And for the people who want to go back to the combustion engines and the bigger trucks, which make up about 84% of Colorado sales, we're going to have those available too. I think our position on fuel efficiency standards is that you don't need a mandate to pursue a goal. We're still going to try to sell the cars that get us better and better gas mileage and cleaner air, because those are state goals. But the goal, I believe, prior to the rollback of the CAFE standard was 50 miles per gallon by 2030 or 2032. The likelihood that we hit that was pretty unlikely. So I think we're going to keep on doing what we're doing and trying to sell clean cars. But at the end of the day, the choice of what you drive should be driven by the consumer. And not
You know, and something you said earlier about hybrid, I believe hybrid is going to be a big part of our future here in Colorado. But you and I talked offline and about affordability being such a big theme, a big issue for so many Colorado families today. How does the Colorado Automobile Dealers Association talk about affordability in just a few seconds we have left?
Sure. You know, a lot of what you see is sort of a dynamic art, right? The manufacturer's suggested retail price, it is what it is. It's always going to stay the same. We're looking at dealers and manufacturers to start putting on incentives to replace those that used to be given by the government, so that we can get the consumer in the right car at their right price point.
Matthew Groves with the Colorado Automobile Dealers Association. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having
me. The takeaway is clear. If you're in the market for a new ride in 2026, you need to go in with your eyes wide open. Between shifting regulations and sticky sticker prices, knowing your budget has never been more important. So stay vigilant and shop smart. For the 9 News Business Buzz, again, thanks to my guests, Matthew Groves, I'm Ryan Frazier. See you next time.